Today's episode is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and for a limited time, all pre-orders of $25 or more with a Modern Horizons booster pack or box will get a sheet of stickers featuring not just the Card Kingdom logo, but some of your favorite Modern decks for free. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So, Modern Horizons is kinda here. It's out on Magic Online, and today we are looking at probably the scariest new deck to come out of Modern Horizons, at least so far. We're very early in the format, but this is Hogaak BridgeVine, coming to us from Canister, and this is a deck that can potentially end turn 3, either with a literal win or hundreds of power on the battlefield. Like, over 100 power on turn 3, I have seen the screenshots proving that that can happen. So this is a crazy one. So congrats to Canister on a really sweet looking deck. And a quick reminder before we break down Hogaak BridgeVine for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Hogaak BridgeVine is pretty simple. It is essentially a combo deck, and the combo involves getting cards into the graveyard, getting cards out of the graveyard, and making millions of creatures. So as far as getting cards into the graveyard, we have three main options. First off, Modern Ultra Staple Faithless Looting, just draw 2, discard 2. Really simple, fuels the graveyard. Stitcher Supplier comes down, mills for 3. When it dies, it mills for 3 more, and we do have ways to kill it, and it's a zombie, which is also relevant to some of our combos, which we'll kind of wrap around to later. And then Insolent Neonate just sacrifices itself to essentially reverse loot, to rummage, discard a card to draw a card. So these cards get us started on turn 1 getting cards in the graveyard, which is step 1 to our combo. And then a new reprint in Modern Horizons is a card that lets this deck go really crazy. Altar of Dementia allows us to sack a creature to mill equal to that creature's power. So we can sack our Stitcher Supplier for more mill. We can sack some of our other creatures. This lets us, in the early game, fill our graveyard at lightning speed. And then, in the late game, if we want to, and we're in the right matchup, we can't just win by milling our opponent out. If they have like an ensnaring bridge, so we can't beat down with our hundreds of power, we can't just mill our opponent out of the game that way. So this is our filling the graveyard slides, and then we have some of our payoffs. So this deck has a few different ways to abuse the graveyard. The most straightforward is to play big, occasionally hasty, maybe trampling creatures like Hogaak, Arisen, Necropolis, or Vengevine. So Hogaak, pretty simple. We mill a bunch of cards, we have random cheap 1-mana things on the battlefield to convoke. We end up with an 8/8 trample, maybe on turn 2, which is a really massive threat, even in a format like Modern. Vengevine takes advantage of the fact that our deck can cast some creatures repeatedly from its graveyard, so we're going to be able to get that back with haste, smashing at our opponent, again, maybe on turn 2, turn 3, dealing a ton of damage. Then we have our other plan, which is Bridge from Below. So Bridge from Below is both a card that we want in our graveyard, and also a major payoff for being in the graveyard. Whenever a non-token creature that we control goes to the graveyard, if Bridge is in our graveyard, we get a 2/2 black zombie. If we have 2 bridges, we get 2 of those. 3 bridges, 3 of those. So we want as many Bridge from Belows in the graveyard as possible. And then there is a drawback. When one of our opponent's creatures goes to the graveyard, we have to exile all of our Bridge from Below. So there is a bit of a drawback, but we have some ways around that. And plus, if we can just get a turn with a couple of bridges in our graveyard, we can really go off. So we have these sack outlets, along with Altar of Dementia. We also have Carrion Feeder, which is a way we can sacrifice our creatures, our Stitcher Suppliers, our Vengevines, because they're coming back, our Hogaaks, because they're coming back, again and again and again and again, which is going to trigger Bridge from Below, again and again and again and again, which is going to make a ton of zombies. And then we have some sweet loopy creatures, in Gravecrawler and Bloodghast. So Bloodghast, it comes into play when we play a land. Now we can sacrifice it, maybe we crack a fetch land, get it back, sacrifice it. That's a ton of zombies right there with Bridge from Belows in our graveyard. And Gravecrawler is even better as a combo piece. We can cast it for a single black mana from our graveyard, which allows for all kinds of shenanigans. Let's say we have a Carrion Feeder out. We can cast our Gravecrawler, sack it to Carrion Feeder to grow Carrion Feeder, cast our Gravecrawler. Every time we're sacking our Gravecrawler, we're getting a 2/2 zombie for each Bridge from Below in our graveyard. And then on the second cast, we're getting back all of our Vengevines as well. And if we throw Altar of Dementia into the mix, we do need another zombie to cast Gravecrawler, but as long as we have a Stitcher Supplier, a second Gravecrawler, whatever on the battlefield, Altar of Dementia is even scarier because we can mill ourselves as we're doing it, which is finding us more Vengevines, finding us more Bitch from Blows as we are making zombies and just going crazy by casting Gravecrawler over and over again. And that's basically the plan of the deck. Ultra fast, ultra consistent graveyard value deck. For removal, we have Necrotic Wound, just kill something. We got lots of creatures in our graveyard. Mana base wise, Bloodstained Mire, Verdant Catacombs, Polluted Delta give us plenty of fetch lands to find Blood Crypt, Blackleaf Cliffs, and Swamp. As far as the sideboard, we're basically on two plans. One is protecting our graveyard. Wismare, Ingot Chewer, Shenanigans, all ways to blow up artifacts and enchantments that can shut down our graveyard. Rest in Pieces, Leyline of the Voids, Relic of Progenitus, etc., etc. The Godless Shrine so we can actually evoke our Wismare. And then we're fighting our opponent's graveyard. Leyline of the Void and Silent Gravestone. So these cards do two things. First off, they enable the mill kill in other matchups. We talked a little bit about how once we make this huge board of creatures, we can just sacrifice all of our creatures to mill our opponent out of the game in one big turn. With Leyline of the Void, doesn't matter if our opponent has an Emrakul or something else that shuffles back in. The other thing Leyline does is protects our bridge from blows, because if there's a Leyline out, our opponent's creatures are never going to die and go to the graveyard, so our opponent's not going to be able to remove our bridges unless they have actual graveyard hate. Silent Gravestone, kind of a backup that doesn't really affect our plan at all. Another Necrotic Wound for removal, and that is the insanity of Hogaak BridgeVine for Modern, and that's been our instant deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.